a classic again the other night. And if you haven't seen this movie, I really suggest you take some time. You can watch it with the family. It's called Heavyweights. Some people say it's a prequel to Dodgeball.
Oh, it is.
And if you really go back and look at it, like there's some, but basically it's Ben Stiller buys a summer fat camp for kids. And like it was like the people who owned it before, like the kids would have a good time and do go-kart races, but he's like very like militaristic. So he weighed like 300 pounds, was like a 10-year-old and lost all this weight. And he's like some rich kid. I'm just telling you guys.
Tony Perkins becomes White Goodman.
Yes.
That's
all the bad stuff that happens, Tony Perkins has to change his name to White Goodman. I mean, there's literally parts where he like cancels. He's like, he goes on there one time, he gets on the intercom of the camp, he's like, because the kids aren't losing weight because they keep sneaking food. Like he goes in there and is like finding candy and he's like, oh, look at deli meat.
Deli meat.
But he tells him, he's like, gets on the intercom, he's like, lunch has been canceled
due to lack of hustle. I think that's my favorite line from that movie.
It's such a great movie. And you can watch it with the family. It's so funny. Oh my God.
Tony caved like the Buffalo Bills in the Super Bowl.
I don't remember enough about that movie. But
you don't remember about it?
I don't remember enough about it. I remember him like. I remember
he's like step on the
race.
Scale. He's doing the infomercial.
He's like, hey, come on.
Hey guys,
step on the scale.
He's like, welcome. He's like, it's Tony Perkins camp, like losing weight camp, whatever. He's like, step on the scale, son. He's like, all right. He like goes. He's like, you've gained 9 pounds. He's like, muscle weighs more than fat. Muscle weighs. And then like the camera's rolling. He's like, all right, next guy get on the scale. And he's like, he's looking at him. He's like, dear God. He's like, you've gained 13 pounds. He's like, turn off the camera.
The guy's like
this. He's like, congratulations, Steven.
You're the fattest
kid in camp.
And his like assistant, like
it's Lars. Guy from like
Tony.
I'm feeling skinny, Tony.
He's like, listen, I'm going to be sleeping in the bunk with you. He's like, I snore very loud, but don't be alarmed. I'm not going to die. He's got like a deviated septum.
I would feel bad for Tony Perkins, except the whole, because he's trying to be an entrepreneur, he's trying to buy a camp, but it was handed down from Papa Perkins, that was the situation.
Well, now he got the money from Papa Perkins. Remember, he bought the camp from the two nice people who in actually real life, his dad is the character he buys the camp from.
No, I know that, but I mean, he bought the camp because of his father.
Oh, the Lighting King.
The Lighting King.
Yes, exactly. I'm telling you, it's Heavyweights. It is an absolutely hilarious movie. You definitely need to go see it. Undefeated TCU goes to Texas tomorrow. We're going to break that down. The Panthers beat the Falcons in another Thursday night stinker, and we'll break down the keys to victory for each top matchup across the country this weekend. I'm Jake Crane. It's Flamin' Dragon Friday. You know what time it is. There's an old saying when it comes to really sticking it to somebody twice. They say it adds insult to injury. And if Texas is able to knock off TCU at home Saturday, where they currently sit as the 7-point favorite, it would be just that. Let me explain. The Longhorns have decided to take up a membership at Globo Gym, aka the SEC, and along with Oklahoma, that will gut the two biggest brands out of the Big 12, taking lots of dollar signs and potential championship success along with it. Now, that didn't say the Big 12 isn't replacing them with good markets, teams, but we all know how big Texas and Oklahoma football is. When you think of the Big 12, those are the first two teams that pop into most people's minds. So overall, it will be a net loss for the conference. But Texas could deal a blow that would impact 2022 on their way out to their soon ex-conference by taking away their biggest and most hopeful chance for a college football playoff berth. Now, TCU is the guiding light in the Big 12 right now, and they're sitting undefeated. But a slip-up against Texas on the road would open up the door for a one-loss Pac-12 champion, and that conference has 3 times the amount of teams legitimately in the playoff race than does the Big 12. And while Texas is a good team and you are playing on the road, they do have 3 losses, and I don't think that's going to be enough to push TCU into that 3 or 4 spot if they have that loss on the resume and it comes down to a bunch of one-loss teams. Now, we're going to pick who we think wins this game later on in the show. But for the sake of the Big 12 having a seat at the adults table come championship time, this weekend is definitely make or break. I'm going to bring in my co-host, former Michigan quarterback, Heisman candidate, just great person all around, 6'7".
Don't stop.
David Cohn. Then I'm going to bring in my brother, former Western Colorado wide receiver, and on Friday is known as Flaming Dragon. And here at Crane and Company, you know what time it is.
I feel like the timing was wrong on that.
I like it.
I thought the timing was wrong.
No, I like the timing on that.
I don't, to be honest.
You didn't?
I didn't. I needed to be a little bit later.
Okay, well, you
That's
do have
okay,
a nice.
Dave.
You do have
You
a
did well over there.
You do have a nice jacket.
Hey, I like your jacket too a lot.
Thanks, and you know about us.
How about the timing of this right here?
We know how to be friends.
We know how to be friends.
We do know how to be friends. All right, guys.
Talk
Some really big matchups this weekend, but it's kind of, and this isn't the only place we're seeing, two mega brands leave a conference.
Yeah.
You've got Texas and Oklahoma leaving the Big 12. You've got USC and UCLA leaving the Pac-12. Now, maybe the same year, maybe different years to wait. I think a lot of it's going to happen faster than a lot of people think. I think there's a chance Texas and Oklahoma could be in the SEC next year. But if you're Texas, if you beat TCU this weekend and get one step closer to really nullifying the Big 12 when it comes down to being able to get a team in the college football playoff berth, this is literally giving them the middle finger out the door. And around the Big 12, just get out. Just get out. Get out. We've tried. We've tried to raise you right, but you want to go out and party? That's fine. You didn't want to go into the military, like we said. Get out of my house. Get out of my house. Now you want to start breaking stuff and screaming at me and taking my money?
See, I thought
That's
you
what it
made
feels like.
a good point yesterday when we were talking about a similar situation in the Pac-12. When I said, well, do you think the Pac-12 wants USC to win out? Because they're a little bit bigger brand. They have one close loss on the road at Utah. And then that would be a better opportunity for the Pac-12 to make the playoff. And you said,
Hell no.
The Pac-12 wants them to lose every game and just hope the committee values Oregon getting better every week despite their blowout loss.
Yeah, and think about this. If you're the Pac-12, deep down, I know you're rooting for Oregon because if Oregon wins the Pac-12 and is able to get into the college football playoff, that's going to entice them to stay in the conference even more for these suitors that are outside because they realize, hell, I can get to the college football playoff even though it's going to move to 12. I could make the top 4 with the one-loss conference champion in the Pac-12. So I think there's a lot of superlatives when you look at it from an Oregon and Pac-12 standpoint. But for the Big 12, and like I said, I know you replace them with good markets and teams that have a chance to that have a ton of potential, let's put it that way, with Houston and Cincinnati and BYU and UCF. Those are really good ads, but let's not pretend like that is going to be an even swap or really even close to even with losing Texas and Oklahoma. So, again, insult to injury, Texas beats TCU, knocks TCU out. It's the middle finger to the Big 12 as I walk out.
I'm wondering if I should trust a sign here. You've been talking a lot this season about trusting the signs here.
Oh, I can't
I'm
wait.
wondering if I should put a little future.
It's like an 80% hit rate.
Really?
For like people outside.
I'm wondering if I should put a little future bet that the SEC will not win the national championship this year. You know why? Because in your open, you said the SEC was Globo Gym, but Globo Gym loses.
Well,
Average Joe's won.
Who's Average Joe's?
I don't know. It could be any of the other conferences combined.
I mean, look, I feel like Georgia's better than that Globo Gym team.
That's me too, but I'm trying to trust signs right now.
What I mean by Globo Gym is that they have the best players, the best resources.
Michelle,
it's the top of the top. You look at Globo Gym, all right? They have shareholders. Average Joe's didn't even have cup holders. All right? So, again, upsets happen. We've seen it. We've seen it before. We've seen the SEC not win the national championship before like 3 times in the last
Y'all seen that
6
before?
times in the last 30 years.
Are you 11? Blaine's 11 years old, man.
Hey, 12, you get it right.
Yeah.
11 and a half.
He's 12.
You always know if you use a
Hey,
half number.
you said it. You said it, not me. You said it, not me.
My neighbor.
What's
my neighbor. Not you.
Not you. Calm down.
Okay, no. We don't count David. We don't count
Do
David.
we count?
No, we
Wait,
count
hold on.
me.
What happened?
You said my name.
Oh,
Yeah. Do we not count David?
look, I'll use Ninja Focus and call you.
Look, if you
I
don't know,
need
if
you
this is
to
your
lock
first
it
time
in.
joining on Flaming Dragon Friday, we cannot refer to my brother by his Gubby name.
Poll's already out there. It
Dragon.
says, well, Jake say Blaine more than 3.5 times.
That's all right. The over/under 3.5.
3.5.
Don't won't say it once.
That's
you
the
should have
poll?
bought it down.
You went 4 last Friday.
You should have bought it down to 2.5 and got the extra money.
But I mean,
I literally wrote it down.
I can't believe Texas is a 7-point favorite in this game. To be honest, 7 points,
7.
guys, that's a lot, especially
It
with
is
the
a lot of
undefeated
points.
TCU team. This might turn out to be one, if the best game of the year.
I mean,
You think so?
everything
Yeah.
says, everything says shootout. Everything you look at says it's going to be a shootout. Quinn Ewers over there spitting it out. Bijan, the Lambo, doing his thing from the backfield, catching it, running it. TCU, obviously, we know how deep that wide receiver room is. I mean, with Darius Days and Johnson and those guys they got running around. Max Duggan's, got more experience than a, 80-year-old when it comes down to being able to operate in the pocket and outside the pocket, and the running element. I think for Max Duggan, something that really keeps them in games from not only running for first downs, but extending the play. When I look at this game, though, part of me thinks it may be since everybody's expecting so many points. I think it's one thing to look at Wake Forest playing North Carolina, and I know there's going to be a ton of points scored in that game. When I look at this game, the defenses are good enough, though, that they're hearing all this, too. They're hearing, oh, well, it's the Texas offense versus TCU offense. Oh, look at all these players. Quinn Ewers and Max Duggan and Bijan Robinson and Quentin Johnson and all these guys. Nobody's talking about the defenses. And defensive guys play angry. Like, offensive guys can play angry, but it's not awesome for offensive guys to play out of their mind angry all the time, because it's a different mindset that you're operating. On defense, you play angry, and it's almost like a personal thing. So I would not be shocked if this game was low scoring early while they were kind of feeling each other out and the defenses were flying around and making plays early, trying to make their statement on the game. Then you see it open up. And we're going to get into keys to victory, but it's a very interesting matchup. That spread is very interesting to me, Blaine.
7.5. Got the over.
It's 7.5 now.
7.5 over under at 65. I don't think 65 is enough.
You don't think it's enough?
Well, no,
I mean, if they're saying that, and it's 65, and they're saying it's a 7-point deal, I mean, they're thinking they're going to win what? I mean, 35-28?
I would think so. Yeah,
somewhere around there.
Somewhere in that range.
I mean, so 38,
which I can
30,
see
somewhere around there. I mean, so I think it's fascinating because I do think there is pathways for this game to go a different way than what a lot of people think, as opposed to the Wake Forest North Carolina game, which, North Carolina defensively is basically like, one small city state trying to go against a huge, superpower. It just doesn't work. It's just not going to work.
Yeah.
It just is what it is. All right, Flaming Dragon, before we get over there to the Booster Club, there's something I got to say. We always talk about offenses and defenses and special teams. What do you want your players to be? You want them to be athletic, all right? And what a better way, or there's not a better way to become athletic than to take Athletic Greens. What I mean by athletic is better gut health. All right, maybe you don't have time to eat all those vegetables, Cone. Maybe you're feeling tired and drained coming into work every day because you're just grinding. You go to work, you handle your business there, you go home, you be a good husband, you be a good wife, or you just hang out, whatever happens. I'm telling you, Athletic Greens, I started taking them right when they started sponsoring the show.
Yep, me too.
And it helps me more in the morning than anything. But it's not just gut health, it's nervous system, it's immune system, it's energy, it's recovery, it's focus, and aging. You're telling me I can feel better, I can be more focused, and you're going to make me look younger?
Yeah.
Hell, Ponce de Leon didn't know nothing, man. Give me Athletic Greens. So make sure you go and reclaim your health and you arm your immune system with a convenient daily nutritional supplement. It's just one scoop and a cup of water every single day. That's it. To make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you guys a free 1-year supply. That's a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 travel packs for your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/Crane&Company. All right, you got to put the and in there. It's not the ampersand. Again, that's athleticgreens.com/Crane&Company to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance.
I was hearing Rogan talk about this for a while. I always wanted to try it, and then I started just like you when they started sponsoring the show. Yeah, I had to.
Reed
and the
wants
movement.
to. Reed
yeah,
wants to
okay.
try
You were talking about Reed, so the movement's spreading because my father's already on it. Darby Lou's trying it now. You're going to get Reed on it. It's spreading.
It's spreading, man. It's
gut health.
Athleticgreens.com/Crane&Company. Flaming Dragon Booster Club. What's the
word? Ethan Williams wants to know #AskCrane. Cone, you can be included in this as well. What are your chances that Gary Patterson is the game day guest picker?
I mean, I know he obviously was at TCU for a long time and is a guy that did a lot of great things at TCU, but I don't know if them playing Texas, if this the right.
He's still on the staff, right?
They should start having Texas.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
He's on
just start having head coaches be the guest.
No, I mean, look, it's
well, they can if they're not playing that week, right?
No,
I mean,
I want them to be playing that week and at the place.
I gotcha.
I want to be.
Yeah.
Lane
well, I mean,
Kiffin
it's probably going to be Matthew McConaughey or somebody like that, right? When you think Texas,
yeah, McConaughey.
It's going to be Matthew McConaughey or.
Yeah, I don't know how would that conversation go with Gary Patterson and Steve Sarkisian? Like, Coach, look, I gotta go be the guest picker on game day today.
Well, Gary would have already adjusted his pants 10 times and licked the side of his face 8 times. So, but no, I think Gary Patterson would be a good guest picker. He recruited a junior college pretty heavy when I was a young coach. Got to meet him a couple times. He's a really good dude. But now I feel like it's going to be McConaughey or somebody, or maybe some country singer or something like that. I don't know, Carrie Underwood or something.
Wouldn't mind that. Let's go to Travis Elrod, hashtag Ask Crane and Company. If you were Sonny Dykes, wouldn't you want to be the underdog that's been fitting into TCU narrative?
No,
all
we
year?
talked about it. You always want a chip on your shoulder. I mean, if you're TCU, again, because even speaking of Gary Patterson, when TCU under Gary Patterson would have some big years, but they'd always lose a couple games that they shouldn't. They'd win a couple that they shouldn't. They're almost like the Mississippi State a little bit of the Big 12. But when I look at TCU now, this team legitimately has the weapons and I think the ability, and I think they're good enough up front to really make a run in this thing and end up having an elite year. Now, when I look at it from a coaching standpoint, hell yeah, if you're Sonny Dykes, you want to go in there and have your guys to have a chip on the shoulder the whole time. You know, you use that as a weapon. That's a gift to you. Then on the other hand, Sark's going over there saying, listen, you know, I don't care if they say we're an underdog or supposed to win or whatever, we're going to handle our business. It's going to be the same thing. We worry about us. But Sonny Dykes is going to use that to his advantage, and he should. That built-in motivation is a fantastic thing as a head coach. And again, it's a lot easier, in my opinion, to motivate somebody when you're an underdog than to motivate somebody that you're expected to win. And when you look at the win-loss record, you would be shocked if you just landed on here from another planet and said, how in the hell is Texas, with 3 losses, a 7-point favorite, 7.5-point favorite against TCU at home?
Yeah, and this is still an interstate rivalry here.
Yeah.
You know, Texas, TCU. I mean, it's not either team's biggest rivalry, but still, this is one of those few opportunities that Texas Christian has to go in undefeated, to have a playoff opportunity. You're going in to Austin to play Texas. I think these kids are going to be motivated just fine.
No, they're going to be motivated. I'm telling you, don't be shocked if it's a little bit of a defensive game early. People who have the over are going to be freaking out a little bit, but they'll probably break through. The dam will break at some point. But speaking about breaking the dam, go ahead and you break that like button's dam. You hit it, you subscribe to the channel and everything else.
All right, let's go to Jariah Oates with $11.11 donation.
Ooh, 11. Oh, it is 11 today.
It
Yeah.
is.
Yes.
Make a wish. All right.
Yeah,
And he says,
appreciate
Happy
you,
Friday, brother. He says, when is Daily Wire making a football movie, and which one of you would play the head coach? And why would it be Blaine? You already know.
I wrote a football movie, boys.
Look, I got a football movie. It's called Not Facing Giants. It's a sequel to Facing Giants, and it's actually about a quarterback who's like a 5-star, but he gets possessed. It's a scary movie that I'm really workshopping right now. Jordan Peele, and other people kind of getting together.
Now they just stole it. They just stole your idea.
Yeah,
Of course
it's gone now.
Don't worry, I got 13
And it's
more.
gone.
I got 13 more. I got another one
Not
where
facing the little giants.
I got another one I think everybody is going to love. It's called Junior Varsity Blues. It's about this kid who plays JV. His dad really wants him to go play quarterback in college, but he doesn't want his life. And he has a really fat friend named Bubba Bob, and it's really good stuff. I think you guys
Hey, that's kind of similar to the one I was going to do. Remember the Tennessee Titans.
remember the Tennessee Titans.
That it was either
That's
going to
pretty
be
good.
that one or the Friday Night Lights don't work.
I was going to do Godzilla versus King Kong versus Derrick Henry.
That's a good one too.
Yeah.
I was going to do one called I Can't Hear You. And it's a full team full of mute kids.
Mute means you can't talk.
Exactly.
What about the deaf side?
I think
The deaf side.
Not
That'd be
the
good.
Dude, stop.
Oh.
David, that's
Or a movie called
That's hilarious.
a movie called Walk It Off
yeah.
with the football team with no legs out there playing.
Coach said the deaf side. It's like you'll never hear this one coming.
Yeah.
This summer. We should do a trailer.
Yeah.
This summer. We're making noise. But they never.
Yeah.
Just continue.
All right. Let's go to
that's right.
Sammy Way, hashtag Ask Crane and Company. As I'm getting my cardio in after a stellar chest day, Sammy, that's like a solid chest day on a Friday, brother. Get your pump in.
Yeah.
I have one question. What's harder to obtain, Heisman Trophy or an MVP?
I mean, it's basically the same thing. Heisman Trophy, just an MVP for the best player and the best team.
Heisman.
I would say Heisman.
Heisman,
I would
because
say Heisman.
you could play longer in the NFL.
Yeah, and there's a lot more teams in college football, and not now. Again, that's not saying every team has a chance to have a Heisman winner. The Heisman winner's not coming out of UMass. I'm sorry, but when you look at the amount of teams in each conference as opposed to the 32 that you have in the NFL, the math tells you that it's a lot harder to win the Heisman. And it's what's harder to win the Heisman as a defensive player, curing cancer. I don't know, inventing time travel. Anything else?
I mean, I don't know, to be honest.
Those are hard.
Yeah, I think, offensive players, to be honest.
Oh, congrats on your bought blue check, by the way, on Twitter.
No, I didn't buy that. They gave it to me.
That's a lie. You bought it.
No, I didn't buy it.
You told me you bought it.
No, I didn't.
I can't see it on your profile.
I can't see it either.
Exactly. So what did I buy?
Okay, just move on. You're not
Well,
listening.
the thing about it is you can make longer videos.
That is.
So they give you like chance to make longer videos. Like the algorithm's different. I mean, it's already played out. Obviously. I mean, I look at my phone now and just whenever you tweet something, everyone has a blue check. So you think like, wow, who's talking to me? Blah blah blah. Say this, and it's just like,
I'm going like
I like it though. Everyone feels important. It's fine. Everyone thinks their opinion matters when it doesn't. Never has. But I don't mind it. I'm down with the Elon Musk train.
Okay.
Let's go to Mike RFF Lifestyle. What's up, brother? On this Friday, hashtag Ask Crane and Company. What song best describes my Northwestern Wildcats? I was thinking, I want to know what love is.
That's a good one. If I had to have a song to describe Northwestern's football program, I would put it like this. It's the one by Fall Out Boy. It's like, sugar, we're going down swinging. You know, Northwestern, they're not scared. They just have no creativity or imagination when it comes to offense. That's their problem. And it's hard to recruit. Look, it's hard to get guys in Northwestern. Yeah. Okay, let's not act like you just go get Joe Schmo off the street to go be a lawyer or journalist. Okay, Northwestern, great school, just not very twitchy. Let's put it that way.
Is there a song that's, hey, you just beat us, but we'll be your boss one day?
Yeah, it's God, you're gonna know what love is. Why does that song keep popping in my head now? There is one. I'll think about it though. It's a good question.
All right, let's go to Cody Nason, 95, the graphic god.
Cody Nason.
Conference USA getting a deal with the ESPN/CBS to play midweek games in October. Less days without football.
I know. They're taking a page out of the Maction playbook, the Fun Belt playbook. Give us more football. That's all I want. That's it. All I want for Christmas? I don't want anything crazy. I don't want a car. I don't want a grill. I don't want a lawnmower. Give me Conference USA playing in the middle of the week. That's what I want.
Love that. Let's go to H. Wade. He wants to know, what is your favorite upset pick of the weekend, and why is it Arkansas over LSU?
It's a sneaky game,
It's
fellas.
a trap.
It's a trap. Dude, the more I look at this Bama Ole Miss game, and I know we're going to talk about it later. I don't want to dive too far into it. I think it's really interesting. You know, Washington-Oregon's interesting because Washington can put up a lot of points, Penix Jr., and we're going to break that game down as well here in a second. Just looking from an upset standpoint, when you look at kind of the games across the country with ranked teams, there's really nothing that jumped out to me. I made a couple picks.
Louisville-Clemson.
I was just looking at that.
I don't know.
I was just looking
Louisville's
at that
been so up and down. I mean, they've been so up and down. One that I'm looking, Florida State, Syracuse, I think is pretty interesting as well. But if I had to pick an upset here, no, I don't think Navy has a shot against Notre Dame. Maybe Purdue at Illinois. If Illinois plays bad again.
So, yeah, I was going to pull that line up, too. How about UCF Tulane? Who's even favored on that in terms of the spread?
UCF Tulane? That would be...
Because Tulane is ranked higher.
I would think Tulane minus 1.5 at home.
They're at home, so that'd be the difference.
That could be one.
Yeah, it's how well can UCF throw the ball. I mean, that they're a downhill run team that they really struggle. It's Gus Malzahn's offense. I'm going to tell you another one that's a little bit interesting, fellas. And I'm not calling the upset. This Georgia at Mississippi State game, I don't think enough people talk about that.
I think Georgia rolls them.
I don't think enough people
really
run the ball every play and beat them by 14.
No, I don't think so. I think Mississippi State with Zach Arnett, their DC, I think they're going to come out. They played so bad against Bama, which was on the road, I believe. That game was in Tuscaloosa, if I remember correctly. This is their big shot. Georgia's coming off a big emotional high against Tennessee. They're 16.5-point underdogs. I'm thinking about maybe just adding a point to it and going 17.5 and making it one of my show bets this weekend, just because Will Rogers and them are going to have a day where it's clicking. And Georgia played so good on defense. I know Tennessee's a team that goes up tempo, but Tennessee is nothing like what they're going to see at Mississippi State with this air raid. I know Kirby knows what to do. You play back, keep everything in front, dare Mike Leach to run the ball. Will he run the ball? That's the question. Early in the year, they were doing it. They had games with 100-yard rushers. Now they've kind of struggled along the way. If they don't get greedy, I think they could keep it close enough to make it interesting.
If it were just Alabama, I might get behind that, but they look bad against Kentucky, too. They were just unable to move the football.
And they're giving up 150 rushing yards per game. So
Mississippi State is?
Mississippi State is. So I think Georgia's going to be able to do whatever they want with them. So, I mean, and the air raid, Georgia's going to get, at the end of the day, more possessions. I just don't think Will Rogers, I don't think there's enough on that team that we can win this game. Georgia's so good on defense.
Yeah, you're going to need a special teams play. You're going to need a turnover, maybe a pick six, something in that vein. But it's going to be interesting. All right, one more.
Let's go to Stephen Brooks with a $5 dono. Appreciate it.
Remember, if you donate, you get your question asked quicker.
What is Clemson's chance of making the playoffs if the quarterback situation gets figured out, buddy? I think Clemson's out of it.
I think they're out of it. Mm-hmm. I think they're out of it. I hate to say that. And look, it is Clemson, which is obviously a big brand, which shouldn't matter. But we all know this is the real world, and it really does. I think they're in trouble. I think so too. But it's you need chaos. You need absolute chaos.
Which look, we know that Wolverines and Buckeyes are playing. We know that much. So 2 teams ahead of them are already going to play, all right? And then we have the Texas and TCU game this weekend, and even if TCU gets by them, they go on the road to Baylor the following week, then you're going to have a Big 12 championship. The one-loss teams in the Pac-12 are all going to play each other. You have USC and UCLA going to play. USC is going to play Notre Dame as well. Then there's going to be a Pac-12 championship. So I don't know.
Would they take a ACC winning Clemson with that one loss against Notre Dame over a one-loss Tennessee, whose only loss is at Georgia?
And that's where the question gets, or a one-loss Michigan or Ohio. That's
I don't think
the question.
you can. And you look at strength of record, it's not even close. It's not even close. All right, let's get the keys to victory.
You mean for Clemson and Tennessee?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I think Clemson probably has a better strength of record right now than Michigan maybe. But, you go on the road and beat the Buckeyes, that's going to improve your strength.
Yeah, and Michigan controls their own destiny still.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, it's true. All right, keys to victory. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Why are you looking at me like that?
I don't know. We all both just looked at me at the end of that. So I don't.
Well, you know how it is. You know how men
The
are.
keys to victory are both like this.
Hold on.
You know how men are.
Hey, you know
We're
how
friends.
men are?
Yeah.
Okay, we're friends.
We know how to be friends.
I just want to do the Full House intro. I think we should do that one.
We should. I think we
We should do a full
I think
house
it'd be funny.
intro.
I agree.
I think
like
we
that.
should.
All right, keys to victory. Where do you want to start?
Let's start Bama Ole Miss. Let's start there.
Okay.
My thing for Alabama is I think it's pretty simple. Look, you haven't had your best year. You've had self-inflicted wounds. I talked about it against LSU. We know they can't go out there and get penalized 17 times, turn the ball over, do stupid things on special teams. I want to dive a little deeper. You got to make Jackson Dart beat you.
Yes.
You got to make Jackson Dart beat you. Ole Miss is a running team. They are run to pass, Lane's pitching backwards this year, which I think is a compliment to him because he realized what his team's strengths are. So if you make Jackson Dart beat you, not that Jackson isn't a good quarterback, not that Jackson can't make some big throws, but Jackson Dart for 4 quarters, I don't think can beat Alabama through the air. I don't think he can do it. Go back and look at the LSU game. All right, go back and look at these teams in general. Jackson Dart struggles to see linebackers in coverage. Eventually, I'm telling you right now, if they throw this ball over 40 times, if Ole Miss throws it over 40 times, he's going to have at least 1, maybe 2 interceptions. I wouldn't be shocked if they were both the linebackers. Because, again, you have Mingo on the outside, but you're not running around with some of the cats that you've had in the past at Ole Miss, the Elijah Moore guys that could really stretch Bama and put a lot of pressure on them from both sides. It's really Mingo out there. You got a couple other guys that are nice players, but you don't have those elite guys on the outside. Remember the LSU game for Ole Miss. They speaking of pitching backwards, Ole Miss came in that game and pitched backwards. Jackson Dart was really effective through the air, off play action, rollout, sprints, boots, waggles, things like that early. Well, eventually LSU caught up to it. And then Ole Miss had to revert back to who they were in running the ball. Well, when that got shut down, Jackson Dart had to go through the air again, and it didn't work. That's how you get outscored 42-3. And it seemed like Jackson was really kind of flustered in the pocket to me when they were having to throw the ball. I just don't think he's comfortable operating, throwing in the SEC, not the Pac-12 at USC, but in the SEC with what Lane wants to do with how this team is built with that experienced offensive line. If you make Jackson Dart beat you, if you're Bama, I don't think he can do it. I just don't think he can do it through the air.
I agree with you, too. So if I told you the stat line after the game for Alabama versus Ole Miss is turnovers are even, time of possessions even, penalties are even, and Ole Miss rushes for 150. Who wins the game?
Alabama.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Right? Don't they need to get into the 2s?
Look at what's crazy is if you'd have told me, I want you to think about this. Let's really think about this. And you guys have followed football like we have. If you would have told me 2 or 3 years ago that going into a game between Lane Kiffin and a Nick Saban coached Alabama team, that Ole Miss would be the team that is very run heavy and is not afraid to run the ball. They've got a 3-headed monster, including Jackson Dart, that's effective in the run game, and they're the tone setter in the run game. And Alabama runs the ball like 88th most in the country. I would have looked at you like you were insane.
Mm-hmm.
Like you were insane because it's Lane Kiffin. You don't think of Lane Kiffin and lining up and just running the ball, and it's different. Lane wants to pass it a lot. Lane and Lincoln Riley are totally different. Lincoln Riley's truly run to pass. Like his power pass off play action, things like that. His gap scheme run game, the play action game and his pass game off the gap scheme run game is what makes Lincoln's offense deadly from an explosive play standpoint. But that offense is built on lining up and running the ball. It really is. And it's crazy to think about because his passing game is so intricate off having a successful run game. He's got good quick game stuff, intermediate stuff, and vertical combinations. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is his offense is built to be good enough on the ground to start cooking your ass in the pass game because he messes with your eyes. Everything's going across with Lincoln. It's across and it's deep. It's across and it's deep. It's hard to judge. It's hard to get your depth perception. But if you're looking at Bama, you got to make Jackson Dart beat you. And if you're Ole Miss, just on the opposite, you can't get cute. You can't get cute in this game. You can't come out and try and run a bunch of trick plays and do a bunch of things that are outside of the reason you are here. You are coming into this game at home with a better record than Alabama because your identity is to run the ball and play off of that. Don't come into this game and try and be something you're not. Okay, to me, that's if I'm an Ole Miss fan, that's the thing that worries me the most. That Lane's going to overthink this thing. That he's going to try and do things that are outside of saying, you know what, downset Hut, Quinshon Judkins, go run it downhill at him. Downset Hut, play action, let's kick it out to the flat and get it in 2nd and 2. Lane cannot get cute here. Ole Miss cannot get cute here because if they get cute here, they're going to put themselves in a hole. And this Ole Miss team is not built like previous Ole Miss teams with Matt Corral and guys like this that can score points in bunches, and they're fine going really, really fast and throwing the ball around and throwing it 55 times and winning 50 to 48 and coming back. This team is not built like that.
Yep. No, I agree. You want to go to North Carolina at Wake?
Yeah, let's do it. North Carolina, it's pretty simple. You're going to have to outscore them. You're going to have to outscore them. So the key to me is field goals or touchdowns, not field goals. Touchdowns, not field goals. Sam Hartman, that offense is going to be able to put up at least 42 against you. You might as well go in there and realize you're probably going to have to score 45 to win, maybe more than that. And this one, it kind of feels maybe a little bit like an overtime game to me. You're going to have a lot of passing in this game, which means the clock's going to stop, which means there's going to be more plays, more opportunities to score points. So if I'm North Carolina and it's early in the game, this is why I bring this up, and it's 4th and 2, and I'm at my 22 and I can kick a field goal, or I'm at the 16 and it's 4th and 3, I'm going for it. I'm going for it. Field goals are going to get you beat in this game. Drake May's really, really good. He can extend the play from inside the pocket, outside the pocket. He can throw it off platform. We've seen that. We've seen him be able to take advantage of defenses in the red zone when the field shrinks by being able to make those improvisational, I call them whose line is it anyway, plays. I feel like if you're North Carolina, it's got to be touchdowns. It cannot be field goals, and you've got to be aggressive on 4th down once you get past midfield to be able to go score points. Because Sam Hartman and them is embarrassed the way that they've played. It has not been the renaissance that we saw a little bit earlier with Wake Forest, who lost a tough one to Clemson. They've been playing outside themselves. You know Sam Hartman and them are going to be pissed off at home. Then when it comes down to Wake Forest, it's turnovers. It's pretty simple. Yep. You cannot turn the ball over. I don't care how good or explosive you are on offense, or if you run the slow mesh RPO, you cannot turn it over at this rate and expect to have success at this level of football. I think a lot of it is Sam is trying to do all of it. He's trying to make every single throw from the 1% chance throw to the 99% chance throw. Sam Hartman is really, really good because he's not the greatest athlete in the world. He doesn't have the strongest arm in the world. He's not the biggest guy or the most fleet of foot. Sam Hartman beats you with his mind, his arm, and his heart, but in that order. You trying to beat people just with your heart gets you in trouble because you make plays outside of yourself. You beat them with your mind, you finish them with your heart, and your arm is the conduit that the ball leaves. He's a good enough thrower to do that, but Wake Forest in general, you can't put the ball on the ground, you can't turn the ball over, you can't get punts blocked. They're going to have to play clean to be able to score the amount of points that Drake May and them are going to score. This is going to be an old-fashioned shootout, boys.
Blaine, 2 of the better quarterbacks in the ACC facing off.
It's going to come down to the red zone. What 3rd down and who scores touchdowns and not field goals? Because, you look at these teams. Obviously, Drake May will be somewhat of a difference, but Sam Hartman's up there too.
Yeah.
Sam's extremely nice. North Carolina's defense is terrible, especially in the run game. Wake's defense is a little bit better. So you kind of mentioned the turnovers when it comes to Wake's going to play a huge part in it, but 7's going to be so important in this game rather than 3. Whatever the over in this game is, buddy, take it unless it's 80. Well, it still might hit.
Yeah, it's like we used to say all the time. I had an offensive coach that said, listen, I'm not a mathematician, but even if you take 7 minus 3, that's still more than a field goal. Mm-hmm. So split.
I'm expecting a lot of 4th downs in this game. Going for it on 4th down.
Yeah, no.
Anything
it's going to be a very entertaining game to watch.
Look, if you're a fan of scoring points, this weekend will be fun.
Yeah, it will be fun.
Washington at number 6, Oregon.
Yeah, I'm going to start with Washington. Bo Nix is so comfortable right now in the pocket running this offense with Kenny Dillingham calling the plays. He talked about in interviews the ability to check running good looks into good looks as opposed to trying to force a square peg in a round hole. So if I'm Washington, I am literally late movement stemming the defensive line. I'm showing pressure and bailing. I want chaos pre-snap. I want chaos pre-snap for Bo Nix. I've watched Bo Nix long enough obviously with the Auburn affiliation, to know when Bo Nix starts thinking is when Bo Nix starts screwing up. He will overthink himself. When he's out there just playing off instinct and understanding and operating within the offense and not overthinking it, he is a very, very talented player. But when Bo Nix gets in trouble is when he tries to do too much and he overthinks things. If I'm Washington, I'm giving him the full menu this weekend. The full menu. It's the only chance you have to slow him down. Washington's defense has really underperformed, especially up front in the defensive line in that front seven. Oregon is not afraid to run the ball with Dan Lanning. I think they've been pretty balanced on offense, to be honest with you. I think that's kind of the secret recipe to their success, because a lot of people in their mind, Oregon is still this spit it out real quick in the bubble. Let's operate, wear 300 different uniforms and see how fast we can go. That's not what Dan wants to do. This is a somewhat balanced offense. So if you're Washington, I'm muddying up everything. I'm running what we call radar on third downs, where you have people just walking around that aren't lined up. We saw Arkansas State really start to do that in the Sun Belt. You got to be careful a little bit. It's kind of like run stunning. Yeah. If they hit you with a run and catch you with your pants down, it can go for 80. But you have got to find a way to at least make Bo Nix think, because when it makes Bo Nix drink, or when you make Bo Nix think, you make Pat Nix drink.
There's a good
screw up. From Oregon, to me, it's you got to make Penix get greedy. Washington has one of the best passing attacks in the country. Michael Penix Jr. may have the strongest arm in the country. And people think I'm crazy saying that. Go watch some of these throws. Mm-hmm. This ball is spin. We talk about spin rate in baseball. Like, oh, yeah, man, that curveball has got great spin rate. I mean, even that two-seam, look at the spin on that. That's why you're getting that dive inside the righties and away from lefties. Michael Penix is spinning the rock. This ball comes out different. It's like it's launched out of it's like an RPG coming out. But Michael Penix is also very greedy. This Washington offense, Polk, McMillan, the guys on the outside, they want to go deep. Mm-hmm. That's what Washington wants to do. They want to go deep and across the middle. Those are the two things. Post, vert, skinny, poco, which is post corner. They give you corner wheel, stuff like that. Post corner or post wheel. But my thing, which are all plays. My thing, if I'm playing against Washington, though, is I am playing back and keeping everything in front. I am going to make Michael Penix throw the check down. I'm going to make him throw the spot. I'm going to make him throw the slant. I'm going to make him throw the hitch. I'm going to make Coach DeBoer and those guys drive 10, 11, 12 plays down the field, nickel and diming me, light boxes. You want to run it, go have some fun. That's fine. You limit their possessions a little bit and you slow them down a little bit doing that. Because eventually, I'm telling you, I don't think Michael Penix, the OC, and that staff at Washington can check it down and nickel and dime them down the whole field, the whole game. I don't think they can do it. I don't think they have the wherewithal to do it. I don't think Michael Penix has the wherewithal to do it, and he will start throwing into double coverage. Then you'll see safeties getting interceptions. You'll see in corners that are dropped back in cover 3 getting interceptions. That's where I think you play Washington.
That plays into a little bit of what I was thinking for a key to victory for Washington here, which is, can they keep Michael Penix Jr. out of 3rd and long? I'm talking about the Washington staff. Can you set him up in 3rd and short? And on the flip side of that, Oregon, can you make him be in 3rd and long? Because like you're saying, I think Michael Penix Jr. would be fine checking the ball down and scoring touchdowns, as long as you're looking at 3rd and 3 and not 3rd and 9, 3rd and 10, 3rd and 11, because that's when he's going to try and force the ball down the field and could get in trouble.
You never go broke making a profit.
Exactly. And I think that coaching staff there, with the offensive minds that they have, they understand that it's a little bit tougher when you're in 3rd and long every single time that
Very true.
you're moving
Very
down
true.
the field. All right, we talked about a little bit undefeated TCU at Texas.
Here's my thing. This is the one I thought on the most, because there's a lot of low-hanging fruit. You can easily say, oh, well, this has to happen. You got to play clean, whatever. If you're TCU defensively, you got to bend but don't break. Steve Sarkisian is unbelievable, and this offense is so adept at moving the ball in between the 20s. They are going to get into that red zone. Okay, and you hear, oh, well, you always say, of course you don't want to give up touchdowns. You want to hold the field goals. In this game, against this team that does have as much success as they do, whether it's Bijan, whether it's Gillette, whether it's Quinn Ewers spinning it to Worthy on the outside, they have ways. I mean, the monsters they have in that running back room, it's a great 1-2 punch that they have. Texas is going to get the ball in the red zone. If you're TCU and you can bend but don't break, especially early, you'll have a chance to keep yourself in it. It'll be a win for you. Now, if you're Texas, and this is a problem that Sark has that they need to fix, especially going forward because they have really good players coming in. If you get a lead, you have got to lean on Bijan Robinson in the second half. You've got to stop going out there and trying to just out-scheme everybody every play. Now, you want to put your players in the best position possible. I get that. But at some point, we've seen this all year. We saw it against K-State when they let them come back. Stop treating the second half with a big lead like the first half coming out with nothing. And you say, Jake, well, what do you mean? You want to play like you're from behind. That's not what I'm saying. And that's not always necessarily the case. You want your players to play like they're from behind, but as a coach, if I'm up 24 points in the fourth quarter, I'm not throwing the ball 75% of the time. And if you don't believe me, go ask Mike Shanahan. It cost him a Super Bowl at the Falcons. So if you're Texas, don't get super cute in the second half. Lean on Bijan because he can run the rock, and that'll run the clock. And that'll keep TCU, who's an explosive offense and is very capable of coming back from a big deficit, which you might see with all the momentum and pressure on them going into this game on the road. So if Texas gets cute in the second half and wants to throw it around and try and out-scheme anybody with a big lead, TCU will sneak back in this game. But if they lean on Bijan, they'll have a chance to put him away, and Texas fans won't have to sweat every damn second half you play with a lead. It's got to be exhausting. Texas fans in the comments, you got to agree with me here.
No, I agree. The more I look at this game, it's just 7.5. I think TCU covers that 7.5. But Bijan Robinson has to be the difference. Right? And you look at this TCU defense, they're giving up 160 yards rushing a game. Haven't been great, but what have they done, Ben? And they've gotten timely turnovers throughout the year. Like, if you bend but don't break.
Similar to USC a little bit.
Yeah, turn the football over. You can win a lot of games. Hell, you could win a championship. How does Quinn look early? All right, him and Mac. I think Max will play well, but how does Quinn look early? How Xavier Worthy running routes out there? How's their secondary playing on them? And if I'm Texas, I'm establishing one tempo and two the line of scrimmage. That's what I'm doing. I'm slowing things down. All right, I'm gonna make TCU really slow down and see what they do, and I'm going to turn around and hand this ball off to Bijan Robinson for 4 quarters. Yep. And if you do that, I think you win this football game.
I don't think it's ever a bad game plan to turn around and hand the ball off to Bijan.
No. Certainly not. All right, I want to go to the NFL quickly because we have a big matchup on Sunday. This is the 7-1 Vikings at the 6-2 Bills. Still don't know about Josh Allen's status.
Yep.
Blaine, have you heard anything on that?
I have not.
Okay.
Hadn't practiced all week.
I want to highlight this game. I know we talk about a lot of the games on our Sunday show before the NFL slate starts, but this seems like a big one. And this, NFC, AFC, this could potentially be a Super Bowl.
No, it's
matchup.
a huge one. If you're looking for the Vikings, you're catching the Bills at the right time, too, with Josh Allen. Case Keenum is the backup. Who, look, Case Keenum's fleeced the NFL just about as bad as anybody ever has. Kudos to you. I don't know who got fleeced more, the NFL or the Broncos in the trade for Russell Wilson when you go back and look at it. But, my key for the Bills is obviously will Josh Allen play? That's the key. If Josh Allen can play, and then you look, if he does play all right with that elbow, how strong is it? How confident is he throwing the ball? You obviously don't want him taking hits in general, but especially with an injury, is he going to be prime Josh Allen? Can he play and operate at the same way that he, could before this injury? And you're not, we're not even we're basically halfway to the playoffs right now, so you still got a long season to go. But this is where you got to lean on Nyheim Hines and guys like that. But for the Vikings, this offense needs to start going through Dalvin Cook a little bit more. Okay, I know Justin Jefferson's a dog. I know Adam Thielen's Haru the Great White Ninja. I know you've got some pieces outside that you feel good about. Dalvin Cook has one game of over 100 yards this year. Now, he's got a couple with 90, like 95, something like that. We got to start understanding Dalvin Cook is a weapon. He can be Weapon X. Dalvin Cook is one of the few guys in the NFL that when he hits the seam, he can still take that thing 75 yards. He won me a fantasy league one year. But I think for Kirk Cousins and this offense to really have a chance to do something special, not just get to the dance, but actually get in. It's like the Vikings, they always get to the club or the dance, and they're like, hey, is your name on the list? You're like, yeah, Vikings. They're like, I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing it. Like, no, it's me. It's Kirk Cousins and the Vikings.
Yeah, you play Sunday at 12.
Yeah, they're like, nah, man, I'm not seeing your name on the list. To actually be able to get in the club, shout out to the Butabi brothers, to actually be able to get in the club, they have got to be able to establish this run game a little bit more with Dalvin, and I think they've got to start getting him a little bit more warmed up early. And I know Madison's a good back. Madison's a good too. Hell, they look exactly the same. Now Dalvin's a better back, but I think this run game for the Vikings, if they're going to actually do something worthwhile at the end of the year, it's really got to start picking up a little bit.
Justin Jefferson, Stephon Diggs. Who do you think has a bigger game here?
Well, that depends on whether or not Josh Allen's playing.
Let's just say for a second Josh Allen doesn't play. Let's count him out.
Yeah.
Bills are still at home.
Then Justin Jefferson, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah,
I think that this game's at the Vikings, isn't it?
No, this game's at the Bills.
Am I losing my mind?
This game's
Is it in Buffalo?
This game's in Buffalo.
Okay.
Well, if Josh doesn't play, obviously Justin Jefferson. But if Josh does play, I would say Stephon Diggs. So I think I think Josh feeds it a lot more to Stephon Diggs than Kirk does to Justin receptions per game and attempts per game. But if I'm the Vikings, one thing I'm not doing is getting beat by Stephon Diggs. You're going to be doubled.
Beat me,
every
Gabe
play.
Davis. Beat
Gabe
me.
Dave.
But he can.
Dawson,
He can.
Gabe Davis can beat you now.
Well, good. Beat me. I'll tip my cap. We'll get on the bus and get on our way. The same thing when it comes to the Vikings. I mean, make them force feed Dalvin Cook. Do they really want to do it? Do they really want to do it? I know they have weapons. You got Thielen. You got Hawkinson from the Lions. You got Justin Jefferson, the inventor of the gritty, who's an absolute stud. But the more I look at this game, if Josh doesn't play, I think the Vikings will win this game. I still think it'll be Case Keenum was a backup, correct? I still think it'll be close. But, man, I can't wait to watch this game. And I want to see how the Vikings defense does in space. How they do in space, how they tackle in space. Veteran defense. I mean, you got Harrison Smith. You got Pat Pete at corner. You have a great linebacker core. You're pretty good up front on the D-line. But how do you play the Bills in space? If you tackle well, you'll beat the Bills.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I agree with that. All right, let's get to the booster.
All right, let's go to Michael Hodgefelder with a $2 dono. Appreciate it, Mikey.
Mikey.
Says, Jay, can you please do a Mike Tyson impression?
A Mike Tyson impression?
On the spot, buddy. Come on.
Okay. The thief broke my back.
That's pretty
it's
good.
Spinal.
Spinal.
It's spinal.
What do you mean? What do you mean spinal?
He broke my back.
My back is broken.
My back is broken. It's spinal. I ripped his face off. I'll eat your children, your dogs.
I'm the most fifth champion there's ever been.
That's a fun one.
All right, let's go to Ryan Caliendo with a $5 donation.
I know.
Oh, yes.
Says the reason MSU was gassed and needed O2 tanks on the sideline last game was due to half the team plus Leach had the flu. Report says Auburn has caught it as well.
Well, they probably got it from Texas A&M, who they happen to play this week. Look, the flu at this point for Auburn. I mean, whatever. But my thing with Mississippi State, and we've seen this kind of go through the team. We saw Texas A&M have 19 starters out, including felt like everybody that mattered against Florida. I was shocked that game had that many points scored in it. Yeah, look, I'm telling you, I'm not sleeping on Mississippi State this weekend. Like the Spidey sense is not that I think they're going to win. I feel like this game could be one where people are like, woo! Or Georgia fans like, just get us out of here. You know those games where you're watching where you're just like, please just get us out of here.
Yeah.
You're up 7, you're feeling good, but you just never get away from them. And then at the end, it gets a little weird and wonky, and it just feels like one of those games. Y'all know exactly what I'm talking about.
I do.
All right, let's go to Trey Bodenheimer.
Ooh.
What a last name. Says, does a $2 donation.
Thank you, brother.
Does an expanded playoff actually change anything, or is it more of the same with a few more games? Does an 8 to 12 seed even have a chance?
Talk to him about the parity.
Yeah, well, see, like my thing is, I think we have to understand that when we're talking about parity, which is I'm assuming what you're talking about, this isn't a quick fix. This isn't a light switch. I liken it to trying to turn an economy around, which we know about right now. It's a lot of small, good decisions that lead to a big outcome. So what do I mean by that? If I'm a team that makes the playoff, a lot of these teams, you see Alabama, the same teams that we've seen make it, right? Alabama, Georgia, Clemson, Ohio State, Oklahoma. Why are these teams able to keep replicating success? There's a lot of reasons, but one of the reasons is that today's recruiting is different. People aren't going where they're from. People aren't going where their daddy went or their mommy went or their papa went. They're going to what is the best business decision for them. What can get me to the NFL fastest? Because all these kids, plus most of their parents, all believe they're going to the NFL. And if you're getting recruited by big-time schools, that there's some merit to that, obviously. Just look at the numbers. So when you sit down with a kid, he is looking at spreadsheets of how much money your guys at his position group make in the NFL. And they realize that in order to improve your draft stock, maybe go from a 3rd rounder to a 1st rounder, undrafted to a 5th rounder, you need to play in big-time games and have big-time tape against other elite players. What is the best way to put yourself on that stage? What is the best way to rep yourself with NIL? Going to a place that is going to play in the playoff. We've had the same teams going in the playoff and playing in the national championship. So these same teams every year, when it gets down to it with these big-time defensive ends and offensive tackles and quarterbacks, they say, listen, you can go to place B. It's a great place. It's got great people, but you're not going to get paid as much when you get drafted because your draft stock's going to be smaller because you're not going to play against good enough competition or not have elite tape. Come to our place. You'll be the focus of the media. You'll be able to play in these big games. You'll have great tape. Scouts will watch you going up against another 3rd rounder, and that could be the difference in moving you up, and those kids choose that school. Now, enter the 12-team playoff, or what I wanted, the 8-team playoff. Now more teams and more coaches can go into living rooms and say, you have the same opportunity to get in front of the same eyes and the same stage here at place B as you do at place A because we made the playoff. And over time, that leads to parity because this game is monopolized by getting the big guys up front and on the edge. That's where you win in this game. You win with defensive ends, offensive tackles, and quarterbacks that don't screw it up. And the teams that have been dominating college football have a monopoly on that. Because guess who gets drafted first? The quarterback gets drafted, or the defensive end gets drafted, or the offensive tackle gets drafted? Go look at the top 10 to 12. You'll see quarterback, defensive end, and offensive tackle. That's what you're going to see because that is the golden ticket to Wonka's factory and also the golden ticket to winning in college football and football in general.
Georgia and Alabama were going to play for last season's national title if it was a 30-team
That's
playoff.
exactly right.
Okay, but 5 seasons from now, 6 seasons from now, programs like a Penn State or Ole Miss or Utah or Florida State
Hell,
can go to a
Syracuse
recruit.
can
Syracuse
sneak in
can say, hey, we made the playoff for 3 years in a row now if it's a 12-team playoff.
Yeah.
Maybe you get a recruit to commit there.
Hey, kid from California, you don't have to go to Bama now to play in the playoff or get your money or get drafted where you want. Come here. Come play at Oregon. Come play at UCLA. Come play at a team that you may not have looked at in the same vein as you did in other places because you're swimming in the same waters. Because remember, you are what you eat. You are what you eat. And
that was the one point you won me over on because I agree with this guy that we've never even seen 4 teams be able to win the national.
And I agree with
Last year we didn't even see 3. Michigan gets blown out by Georgia.
Now look at this year.
But the 14 playoff did solve the problem that it was set out to solve, which is some years you will have more than 2 programs that can win it. Because that's what we saw with an undefeated Auburn not get a shot in 04. And that wasn't the only case. We've had several years of split national champions. No one wants to see that. The 14 playoff did solve that, but in doing so, we created some new problems, which to me the most egregious one is bowl opt-outs. I just never thought we'd see that because when I was growing up, the bowl game was what you wanted to go play in. Of course, you wanted it to be the Rose Bowl or the Sugar Bowl.
Well, nobody ever
but
thought
you would
about
go play in any bowl.
I mean, think about how football has always been. It's been, oh, you're hurt, you can still play. You hurt or you're injured. You played football, it's a warrior sport. I'm going to go for as long as I can. Nobody ever thought about saying, no, I'm not playing. Like, I'm healthy and not playing in this game. That thought never crossed somebody's mind. But there is some merit to the business decision of doing that when you're playing in a bowl that, let's be honest, isn't a New Year's Six or a championship bowl. If I came from nothing and I had my whole family depending on me to be able to elevate us maybe out of poverty to be able to change our socioeconomic status, and it's not worth me if I'm a projected second round pick going to be a millionaire, projected first round pick going to be a millionaire, that I go play in the taxslayer.com bowl.
And the way guys were doing it when I was playing, and they still are, it's much more advanced now. But I remember Chad Henne coming back for his senior year at Michigan when he could have gone to the league as a junior, getting that insurance policy.
Yep.
I don't know all the details, we didn't get into all that, but took out an insurance policy, which is if I have a career-ending injury in college as a senior, I'm going to make X amount of money. And he did get hurt his senior year. This is what happened. He got hurt against Oregon, our second game of the year. Yeah, I believe it was against Oregon. So, but ended up having a 13-year NFL career.
Yep, still doing it.
So just offset.
Yeah, still doing it.
All right, let's go to Ryan Caliendo, $2 donation. Appreciate it, Rhino. Says, here's a Tyson impression. Sorry, I didn't hear you. I can't do it.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't hear you.
Decent. Garrett Flores.
Would you do that impression with Tyson in the room, though?
Yes.
Yeah. I believe him.
You would.
Yes, I would. You know me.
Straight to his face.
I'm like, Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson. It's me. Jake Tyson.
J Chain, Chipotle, winning Chipotle chili for sure, my brother. Garrett Flores, $2 donation. If
Thanks,
TCU beats Texas by 15, will y'all stop sleeping? No one's sleeping.
Dude, I've been
we're making our picks here in a minute.
Well,
so
I've been the biggest TCU, like banging the drum because, again, under Gary Patterson, TCU would have good years and lose to Iowa State or something. You'd have those couple slip-ups. I hope TCU could actually finish it. I've been one of the biggest TCU guys since week 4. Since I watched them play. I've been gassing up that wide receiver room like it's like I've got my car pulled into a convenience store. Like it's at some point in time, though, you do have to look at the chips on the field. And if they win by 15, I'll be the first one to come up here and say, look, listen, I didn't think they were going to win by 15. Now, we haven't made our picks yet. You'll see. But I think it's going to be a heck of a game. I think it's going to be pretty interesting.
Let's go back to Rhino Caliendo, $10 donation. Appreciate it, man. You're hot today. Choosing violence. I love it. I'm super jacked and tan and psyched about my britches. All right, no more flu. As Mike Leach quote goes, Bigfoot says, if you don't believe in yourself, no one else will.
That's exactly right.
Love to
That is
see
a
it.
true
That is
Bigfoot
true.
quote.
Michael Hotchfelder with a $2 donation. Appreciate it, Mike.
Thank you,
Says,
Mike.
well, University of Florida, humble FSU. Scare money don't make money, fellas.
No, it doesn't. Florida with a big flip. They just flipped a quarterback from Miami as well. Man, you get thick. Start flipping quarterbacks from Miami to Florida, Florida State to Miami. Like, you can get weird. I think Florida can win that game. Anytime you have, Anthony Richardson, who's put together in a laboratory owned by Elon Musk at some point, you have a chance to win the game. The thing about Florida is defensively, you're going to start tackling in space again. At some point, you got to start tackling in space again. In saying them, they couldn't tackle a third grade math problem in a second grade classroom. So
Here's a statement that we haven't been able to make for a few years. Florida State could win that game this year.
Florida State could win.
Florida State could win that game this year.
I
We haven't been able to say.
I wonder where that game's at. Is that game in Tallahassee or is it in Florida?
I'm on
Because
it.
I wonder who's going to be
You
the
got it,
favorite
Devin?
in that.
Yeah.
Jordan Travis versus Anthony Richardson is a hell of a quarterback matchup. Pretty sneaky. All right, one more, then we get
Let's go to Spy Guy 024.
What up,
He says,
Spy Guy?
Hashtag Guys Crane & Company. Morning, guys. Morning asked yesterday about MLB expansion to Nashville/Memphis yesterday. Do you think any other city should have a team? What about Mexico City or Puerto Rico?
No. I don't want Mexico City or Puerto Rico to have the team. We keep this thing in the contiguous United States.
What about Hawaii?
Continue.
No, it's not part of the contiguous United States.
Well,
Not
I think
attached.
Hawaii with a Major
With
League
a baseball, they would not. They don't want to go out and watch Major League Baseball. They're too busy out there surfing and watching volcanoes.
I have to say, I've been to Mexico City one time. It was a blast. It was awesome.
Really?
I was there for
I'm not
work,
talking
but
about
people were
Mexico,
awesome,
you know.
though. People were great.
Yeah. Well, Blaine, we told you about
There's
the time.
20 million people.
Blaine
in
went
Mexico
chasing
City.
iguanas and got lost. And when the only time we ever went out of the country, we went to Cancun when he was like 9.
You did tell me that
Yeah,
story.
Blaine went chasing iguanas with his friends and my
Friend, I mean,
the people.
Our friends.
Our friends.
Yeah.
And my parents thought he got like.
But you
abducted.
told an adult, right?
I did.
Yeah.
All of us did.
So
Allegedly.
why did that adult not pass the message along?
Welcome to my life, David.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was great when I came back and he thought the cartel kidnapped me.
No, literally, there was like vans and people. Like I was just waiting for like Fox News to show up, and then he just comes back. Here comes Blaine.
Did you get that iguana?
Huh?
Did you
Oh,
catch
we
it?
caught like 3 of them.
What'd you do with him once you caught him?
Just let them go.
God,
There's nothing like catching a live iguana and get on top of them. It was
Yeah.
wild.
wow, Steve Irwin.
Oh, and that game is in Tallahassee.
Yeah, but no, the Major League Baseball team needs to be in Nashville. Let's just end it there. Just end it with that.
There you go.
Yeah. Rapid fire.
Huddle up.
Huddle up. Let's go huddle
Do
up.
we have our huddle up segment
Let's
this
go
week?
huddle up.
Huddle.
All right. As you know, Cone is breaking it down like Patrick Swayze and Michael Jackson on the dance floor. Let's go ahead. It's huddle up segment this week. It's Friday.
Huddle up, boys. We got 12 personnel. I want right wing, U return, Waggle, 117, Brick, Z stud, X over. Georgia ran this play against Tennessee, and Stetson Bennett hit Ladd McConkey for the Bulldogs' second touchdown of the game. Let's break it down. We're in 12 personnel under center here. So we got 1 halfback and 2 tight ends. Georgia has the best tight end room in the country, so they run a lot of 12 personnel. The Y sets our strength. Z goes with him off the ball. X goes opposite. He's on the ball. The U is our second tight end in a wing position, and he's our adjuster on this play. U return. We're going to go ahead and kick that motion for that second tight end, let him cross the quarterback and return back. This helps Stetson Bennett identify the man coverage that he is getting. Waggle, 117, Brick. This is our run action pass protection off of our zone scheme. Usually you get a guard pulling in this situation, but we're going to use our Swiss Army knife, Brock Bowers in this case, to pull around and protect. Brick tells both tight ends that they are involved in pass protection on this play. Waggle. Let's talk about the waggle action here on this. The halfback is going to fake zone, and then he's on a check release. The quarterback is going to play fake, set up thin on the edge of the pocket. This is not a naked bootleg because he has a front side protector. Z stud. This is our stutter and go route. We're going to push to 12, give a great stutter, and then we're gone. X is on a 12 to 15 yard over route, and he's going to stay on the move. Now, since we have a protector coming across on the pull, I would go ahead and let my front side tight end out on a slip route so that I have a hot, but it didn't matter. Georgia didn't need that because Ladd McConkey ran a beautiful stutter and go route. Stetson Bennett found him for a big touchdown touchdown. This is 12 personnel, right wing, U return, Waggle, 117, Brick, Z stud, X over.
That's great stuff right there.
There you go.
Yeah, Coney.
Great stuff. I do want to say defensively, if you look at it, Tennessee's in cover one there, man free, whatever you want to call it. It's so difficult. And when you have a wide receiver split out to each side out of 12 personnel, when you got 2 tight ends inside, in cover one, we always used to tell that sky safety. So you obviously have one safety that's coming down to help with the other safety. You got one safety in the sky. You're manned up on the corners out there wide. It's so tough when you have wide, kind of 2 guys wide like that for that safety in the sky. You tell them you're deeper than the deepest, but at some point, if you're ever going to get there, you have got to, you're reading eyes. Yeah. You're reading eyes the whole time. And it's really that first movement. We talk about quarterbacks moving the safety with their eyes, right? So I'm in the sky, I'm at safety, I'm looking at the quarterback. He moves shoulders here. I got a vertical on the outside. I've got to haul ass and go.
Yeah.
But like, I've got to go because there's no way I can come back to the middle of the field and then reverse and go all the way to the other side and get that guy. That safety kind of got caught in that position of the field. He was trying to stay low to take away the inside. What it really turns into is 0 on the outside. It truly is 1v1, and that's a great job of understanding. We talk about motions, right? People think that guys motion to get guys open. No, people motion players to find out what coverage you're in.
Yeah.
Because if I know what coverage you're in, that's why we talk about disguising and why Nick Saban and them are so great at it. And all the Rip Liz match stuff and the stuff he was doing was they were statues until the snap. You never really knew how much were they in zone or were they in man. But if there's one way to find out, it's in motion. So that's why
my question for you as a defensive guy, because when I was breaking this down, you saw Stetson Bennett kick Brock Bowers in motion and let him return. The defense, one guy didn't really go with him in man. They were passing it off. So talk to me about that from a defensive perspective, what the philosophy is there, and how can a quarterback still identify, oh, it's still man, even though one person isn't running with my motion guy the whole way?
Yeah. So you trade that for 2 reasons. We used to call it switch. I'm going to switch. And it's something you talk about. Obviously, if my man motions to this side, he becomes your man. One of the reasons you do that is in case they give you that kind of, you see the Chiefs do it a bunch, where they start motioning a guy one way. Ohio scored a touchdown on it earlier in the week. They start motioning a guy. They know you're in man. You're like, hey, trade, switch, whatever you want to call it. Then that guy stops and runs right back out. Tyreek Hill did it all the time for the Chiefs, and your eyes are kind of screwed up. You want to make sure that you're communicating that and you guys are both on the same page. The second reason you do that is because if he starts motioning this way and you start running this way, they can catch you and out-leverage you if he just takes off for an arrow route or something in the flat, or they spit something underneath. If I trade it off, now if you run anything outside, you're running right into the guy I traded it off. Yeah. Now the question becomes, that's if everything is even. You see what I'm saying? Now, then you have safeties where you hear the term spin down, right? All right, it's 2x2. It's 2x2. We just had motion to make it 3x1. We're going to spin these safeties. You know, so that one's gonna go down, the other one's gonna go up. We're gonna trade off. But again, at the end of the day, it's not just about coverage, and I know you know this. It's not just about man and zone. It's about matchups. I know if I'm in man, I know that matchup is true man on man. I know if it's zone, he may sit it down. He's got more room to operate. That's how the option route was born, to be able to attack zone coverage if people, weren't confident enough to get in man.
Another important part of this play, it was 1st and 10, and it was the first play of a drive after a turnover. So Todd Monken, the Tennessee defense was expecting run there, give a little play fake. Not only is it man coverage, but it was soft coverage. Perfect stuttering. Just cooked him on the first.
That's a great thing that Ladd McConkey does. He's one of the best actors when it comes to receivers in college football. It's the little subtleties that you see with him.
Has to be.
One thing I always say as a coach, if you're running a double move, and I like having your eyes down somewhat because you think the DB's thinking you're doing what? You're counting yards.
Yeah.
Right? You're counting yards so you get in a certain place, then you're going to break it down and go. And Ladd just gets on his toes. First of all, the trust that Kirby has and Ladd McConkey, you'd love to see that there. Gets on his toes quick, in and out with his hips. It's beautiful. Sells it with what? When you run a fake, you got to sell it with your hands and your eyes. You sell it with both of those. DBs start to believe. Once that happened, all it takes is one step. He bit. He wrapped the corner, and he was gone. Beautiful ball by Seth.
I used to always tell our DBs, trust their hands, not their eyes. Trust their
tell
hands,
your DBs,
not their eyes.
trust their hands,
that
not
eyes
their
will
eyes.
fool you. Receivers will fool you with their eyes. Quarterbacks will fool you with their eyes. Women will fool you with their eyes. But they're not going to fool you with your hands. How many times do you see a receiver running and he just puts his hands up like this and then puts them back down and starts running again? No, they don't. The only time you'll ever see them put their hands up and fake is if they turn around and go like this and then go on a release.
We would say the same thing about corners.
You don't see them running like this. Because when you're running, you're having to move your hands. That's why when I'm in, like, Blaine, come here real quick. I'm thinking see us. maybe let's see it. So if I'm in coverage right here and I'm in phase, and I always want to be in phase in the back pocket right here when he's running, because again, now we see with the back shoulder, if I'm in phase and I'm too far out in front, he can hit me in the back shoulder, right? Or run the post underneath me. If I'm in phase and I'm in this back hip and he's running, we used to teach guys to swat this arm, all right? Not hold it because it's a penalty, because run, Blaine, try and run. Like use your arms to run. Like if he starts using his arms to run and I do this, you're not going as fast. You see what I'm saying? That's when you see receivers try and do all that stuff. But again, I slow him down, I get my eyes back around, I can't get beat underneath, I'm able to recover over the top.
Yeah.
That's perfect position. But I don't want to sit here and be looking at your eyes, all right? Because I'm pushing the arm or the hip, because if I'm pushing the hip, I'm widening you out to the sideline. Because your eyes go up, all right, like this, and all of a sudden I turn around like this, that's when you're going to sit down on me and come outside or push off and go for the touchdown. But if I'm here, and I see hands go up and eyes go up, I'm up. Because then that's when you see guys going through up like this. But the best ones are the ones who can see the hands here going up, and that's when they turn their eyes around, and that's when you see Surtain and them and guys like that and Marlon Humphrey be able to jump up and pick the ball off. But a lot of it happens in phase. In phase, on time. That's what we used to say all the time.
Love it.
All right, let's get to rapid fire.
All right, rapid fire. I have a button for that.
Let's go pretty quick here.
District of Columbia Attorney General is suing Dan Snyder, the Commanders, the NFL, and Roger Goodell, boys.
Oh, I hope they all go down. I want this to be bad.
Really?
I just
All
don't
of
like Roger Goodell. Get him out.
Some people are questioning whether or not the District of Columbia has jurisdiction, because technically the Commanders franchise is in Landover, Maryland, but it sounds like the Dan Snyder and the whole franchise, they're getting hit from so many different angles. Virginia,
This is why you
DC, NFL, Congress.
This is why you don't come out and say you have beef on all the other billionaires. So then you're going to have 31 billionaires versus you or whatever, something close to that. That's not going to work out well for you. I don't care what you have. They'll squat up on you. Like, if you've ever seen the death of Stalin, we've seen this play out before. Look, basically they're getting sued because they're saying they underplayed how bad it was. That's basically what the severity of the allegations.
Deceiving district residents
and things like that. And I hope they put Roger Goodell in prison. I want him in prison.
Wow.
I want him in prison. I think he's a crook.
That seems like
he's
a
a
bit
crook.
much.
I think he's one of the biggest crooks that there is. I think he's a crook. And I think Dan Snyder is a piece. Excuse me. He's a piece. We know he's a piece. But Roger Goodell, like I said, anybody you can fit a pizza box in their smile, I don't trust. There's no telling what that dude's done. I think he's a crook, and I hope they find out all the stuff that he's done, because I know he's had his hands in a bunch of other stuff in the NFL, and I just think Roger Goodell's a crook, man. I'll tell him that to his face.
I had Goodell lined up for Monday for an interview.
Good, bring him in here. Bring him in person. Get one of those lights.
Roger!
Yeah.
All right,
Roger,
boys.
sit down and shut up. I got some questions.
The indefinite suspension for Kyrie Irving from the Brooklyn Nets continues. Sounds like a 6-point bulletin that he has to complete there. 1, apologize, and then 2 through 5 is essentially all sorts of sensitivity training with Anti-Defamation League and all that. And then the 6th point is, once he completes 1 through 5, to sit down with Nets owner Joe Tsai and essentially promise him that he has no anti-Semitic beliefs. He's only done number 1 so far, and Nike just cut him 2. Nike co-founder Phil Knight said essentially the relationship is over.
Oh, Nike's got ethics now, huh?
Yeah, that's
funny.
Yeah, why you are getting your stuff from slave labor in China? That's hilarious. Kind of gaslighting and disingenuous there. My thing with Kyrie, do I think Kyrie Irving's an anti-Semite? I don't. I just don't think Kyrie Irving's a super smart person, to be honest with you. I don't think he is the brightest bulb in the drawer. There's things you can't say. Obviously, it's a horrible belief to think that way and so like that. It's stupid, and it really makes no sense, and it's founded in nothing but hate and anger, and that helps nobody. I don't think Kyrie dislikes Jewish people. I don't think he's truly an anti-Semite. I think he read something, somebody told him something, he thought it sounded like it would be, like revolutionary to say or hip to say, and he said it and then realized he screwed up. Now, do I believe he should be suspended forever from the NBA? No.
What was the point? You were listening to something with Jay Williams the other day. Was he talking about this?
He was talking about I don't know.
The suspension is too long.
He said it's
or
they're asking him for too much.
That's the point, because LeBron made the same point.
And yeah, they're asking for too much. And to that point, I do somewhat agree a little bit. Like I don't think Kyrie Irving is legitimately an anti-Semite. I think Kyrie Irving just may not be the smartest person ever. That doesn't excuse it. He should still. Do I have a problem with him having to do a couple things and obviously apologize? He should have came out and apologized even sooner than what he did. No. But do I think this is something that should ruin or end his career? No. I don't. But there's some things you can say. There's some things you can't say. I don't really believe Kyrie believes what he said.
I feel like he always wants to be a contrarian. Like whatever the status quo is, go the opposite.
He thinks the earth is flat, David.
Yeah, I know. I get it.
Like it's hard for me to think you're the brightest bulb in the batch.
How do you think this thing's going to end? I mean, is
I don't
Kyrie
know.
going to play?
I don't know. One, to me, this is disgusting on every level. Just to enter this mindset, I could never.
It's a disgusting mindset.
Especially with Kyrie. Kyrie's been a lot of things, but I never thought Kyrie would stoop to this level, have this inside of his heart. Which is disappointing.
But do you think Kyrie do you really think Kyrie?
Yeah, he shared a tweet from that documentary, that controversial documentary that many believe to have anti-Semitic sentiments. I haven't watched the documentary. And then really after he did it, that's when he issued basically no apology. And was like, no, I'm standing on this hill, blah, blah. Then the indefinite suspension. Then he's apologized. I don't think he's completed any of the other steps to be able to
I don't think he's really sorry, to be honest. If it had to get to that point to where a suspension had to come for you to apologize and you didn't realize the mistake that you made, you're not really sorry. You're just scared of the consequence that was going to happen and probably people messing with your money. So in my opinion, Kyrie's either got to get past this and do all the whatever check marks he has.
You think Kyrie's anti-Semitic? You think he deep down's anti-Semitic?
Yes.
I don't think he...
I don't think you say this and then don't apologize. Right? Then a suspension gets hit on you, and then you apologize.
One thing to the money point, though, remember, this is the guy just months ago, he couldn't play basketball because he refused to get the vaccine and stood by his principles on that while he was forfeiting money. So clearly he's fine not playing. He's clearly fine not playing basketball. Like, that's the point I get from Kyrie Irving, which is when Stephen A. Smith came out and said there's no way you should give this guy a max contract. We all had to agree with that.
Yeah.
How could you give this guy a max contract? Because you don't know what's next. What's he going to do next?
Yeah,
you never know.
Again, it's a very, like I said, is he slowly turning into Antonio Brown?
That's a good
I don't know. And Antonio Brown's a lunatic.
Yeah.
All right. I mean,
this I will say at least
whipping it out in the pool at a hotel. So, like.
Well, Josh Primo's whipping it out 9 times in front of the sports psychologist, but he's still playing.
We're still trying to uncover that truth there.
Yeah, trying to expose that truth.
Darren Waller and Hunter Renfrow both on the IR.
Oh, yeah.
It's not getting better for the Raiders.
I think Jason Aldean had a song called "Burning It Down."
The Raiders, man.
Yeah, that's the Raiders. Just burn it down. They're done.
Well, I actually got offered a trade in our fantasy league.
From
really?
Who?
Yeah,
from who?
Darren Waller, who I dropped because he's hurt all the time. Well, since Devontae Adams came over, he's not getting many looks. Michael Knowles' team tried to trade me Darren Waddle. Oh,
Darren Waddle, he'd be a hell of a player.
Darren Waller for DeAndre Hopkins.
No way.
No.
I couldn't click no quick enough.
No, he didn't.
Yeah.
Davies.
like
That's
that
such
would
a
work.
trash trade. You're not Kevin Costner, dog.
Oh, man. I respect it, though.
Justin Verlander opts out of the last year of his deal with the Astros. He was set to make $25 million.
Watch out for the Blue Jays here, fellas.
Blue Jays.
Watch out for the Blue Jays here. Obviously, I think he does end up back in Houston. You just had Kershaw, who re-signed with the Dodgers for the 1-year deal broke last night. I feel like Justin Verlander will end up back with the Stros because Dusty's coming back, putting the band back together. Why would you screw anything up? Don't piss Kate Upton off. But watch out for the Blue Jays a little bit. Look, the Rangers have a lot of money they're throwing around. We're about to talk about a guy.
I'll do it. I'll throw for the Astros for $25 million.
You'll do it?
I'll do it.
New York.
Well, you know what? That's fine. Go to New York because
Get him in, show.
Jay, speaking of pitchers in New York, are the Braves going to get Jacob deGrom?
Just don't go to the Rangers. Why would you go to the Rangers? I know they can give you all the money ever. You're never going to win. That roster's awful. I mean, come on, guy. Jacob, go to the Braves. You know where home is.
The Yankees signed Aaron Judge, didn't they?
Yeah. No, that was a fake report.
So you don't know.
You can't trust people.
Twitter again.
Can't trust people. Last two. Georgetown basketball snapped a 21-game losing streak.
How does that happen?
I didn't even know they had a 21-game losing streak.
That's
under
so
Patrick
bad.
Ewing. Snap that, and then Grayson McCall out for the season. Our boy from
Grayson.
Coastal Carolina. Such a fun quarterback to watch.
I hope he gets a shot in the league.
Yeah.
I just don't know if he throws the ball well enough. That's the thing. He was a perfect fit for Jamie Chadwell and that offense as well. All right, let's get back to the Booster Club Flaming Dragon.
Yes. The air is freezing in here, man.
Feels great.
Oh, it's y'all's deal. Let's go to Troy Jacobs, who's giving us $5.
Troy Jacobs, thank you.
Troy, thank you. Thank you for protecting the city as well.
Yes.
He said, David calls the plays like he would in the huddle. Love it as a former QB myself.
There's no other way to call them.
That's exactly
There's no other way to call
Well,
them.
there's risk.
Surprised you didn't wear your wristband today.
Boy, you couldn't wait to get that one. You got out the car this morning waiting to use
I
that
did. I
one,
literally
didn't
just
you?
thought of that.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Go to Trey Bodenhamer. Probably saying that wrong, but we'll be friends anyway. When is the Give Me Your Playbook segment coming soon?
Yeah. When is that going to happen, Blaine?
Soon.
Cone's got the huddle
You know
up.
what? Bring me your playbook.
Yeah, like people starting to think
Why
you're
don't you
scared around
Why don't you
here.
take a seat?
People starting to think you're scared.
like he's Chris Hansen.
Oh, yeah.
Let's go to Texas Ed. What's up, Texas Ed? Hashtag Ask Crane and Company. Does bad weather affect Southern teams differently more than Northern teams, or is it just play the game and shut up?
Well, it depends on, there's a lot different between it's raining and I'm freezing. Like, I would much rather it be the middle of a category 5 hurricane than it to be 20 degrees.
That's a fact.
Like,
I've played in both.
I'll play in water. I'll put my floaties on and we'll take this thing
We'll
back
play
to
under the
baby
sea.
pool. That's
We'll
exactly,
mermaid this thing.
that's exactly right. One more.
Merman!
Merman.
Let's go to Dylan Hammock. Dylan Hammock. First, they're going to let Judge walk and not apologize to Flaming Dragon, and we will never see him again. You will see me again running for governor of New York.
Look, better than
The red state now.
No, it's not. Well, it was waved up on the side.
I mean,
That
let's
was
be
fun.
honest. It's going to see me
Fun.
there.
Aaron Judge is going back to the Yankees. Let's not play any games. Let's not play any games.
Sign him, get Shohei, get Verlander over.
If you want to play games or not play games, either way, if you want to watch the rest of this, remember you can listen to it if you stay here. Head over to the Daily Wire Plus, become a member, list on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast. Subscribe, leave a 5-star review, and share it with all your friends. It's Flamin' Dragon Friday. We'll be right back with game picks, play bench cut, and our bets from tonight. Oh, what's up? You've returned. What a great decision by you. Great way to start the day. All right, Cone, let's get to Saturday selections. No guest picker today. We're going to have one next week.
5 picks here, boys. All right. 4 football games and then a little surprise at the end. TCU at Texas. Who you taking?
Vanya,
Jake?
Blaine.
Jake?
Are y'all
I'm going
scared here?
Texas.
Texas.
I'm going Texas.
Oh, you don't believe.
I think it's going to be a very tight game. I think Bijan Robinson, they do lean on him in the second half. Give me Texas wins this game 41-34.
So you think the spread, wait, isn't it 7 right now, the spread?
7.5.
7.5.
Over
So
and
you
half.
think that's a pretty accurate spread then?
41-34.
Okay, Blaine, I know who you're going with.
Max Dugan throws a pick in the end zone.
You're going with the Longhorns, aren't
I mean,
you?
I picked him to win the Big 12, which they're not going to. But I'm going to ride with it. Bijan Robinson, the difference. Give me the Texas Longhorns.
Really?
Yeah. Go ahead.
TCU Horned
yeah.
Frogs.
Do
You're
it. Waiting on that.
unbeaten for a reason. 7.5 is a slap in the face. They go into Austin. They beat the odds. They remain unbeaten. The Big 12 is alive and well, boys.
Well, through all of that, through all of that,
What do you want?
you know us. What are we?
Oh, you
Friends.
want, we're men are friends. Men
After
are
all that.
friends, okay?
After all that, all right?
Know how to be friends.
Love it, love it. North Carolina at Wake Forest. Who you taking?
The over.
That and who?
You know what? I think Wake bounces back. I don't think
agree.
they turn it over. North Carolina, I think, has been living on borrowed time because that defense is such a liability, even though I think Drake May's a witch. He's a tall, long, lanky, blue-eyed witch.
Really? Wake Forest at home.
Give me
Blaine,
Wake Forest
you too?
at home.
Give me Wake, Peaky Blinders.
Yeah.
You know who Sam Hartman is, bro?
Well, I guess I'm the one playing with fire on Flaming Dragon
Wow,
Friday. Give me the North Carolina Tar Heels. 11 turnovers in the last 2 games for Wake Forest. Not good.
It's
now,
gotta stay.
I know
It's
North
got to turn
Carolina's
off
defense.
at some point.
You think
right?
so? I mean, 8 turnovers against Louisville, 3 last week at NC State. 3 weeks ago, I would have picked Wake Forest to win this game, but I think North Carolina may have the best football player on the field, boys.
They do
Drake
have-
May, 11 turnovers for Wake Forest last 2 games. I don't know. I'm going to take North Carolina. Go on the road and pull out a victory. Washington at Oregon.
Another game, I'll take the over, even though I think it's like 130. When I look at this Oregon team, the way they've been playing, the balance on offense, I love what Bo Nix is doing. The defense for Washington is what concerns me. I think this game is a little bit closer than what people think. Washington beats Oregon. No, I'm just kidding.
Whoa, you can't do that. It's already in. It's locked in.
No. I've got Oregon. I believe I have the score written down. I think Oregon has a chance to score 50 points in this game. I wouldn't be shocked if you saw a 52-38 type game.
Okay.
Focused. He's having fun.
Yes.
Who is that?
Not a dark horse.
Just might be a dark horse for him.
No dark horse no more.
He's in the running. He's
white
an
horse.
official candidate. He can say
Excuse
Heisman.
me.
He can,
Oh, yeah.
he can put it this way. He can say later in his life that he was a Heisman Trophy candidate, and people don't laugh, and think that's funny.
Yeah.
It's a funny joke.
He made a
You
shirt.
were really a Heisman candidate. David.
Huh?
Who would laugh at that?
I know. There's just been
No
some
one's
people.
laughing.
Some people have laughed. Some people have laughed.
The difference in this game?
We got squad up? You want to squad up?
Can we squad up? Because men know how to be friends.
Bo Nix's
captain.
legs will be the difference in this game.
The
Give me
legs.
Oregon Ducks. Yeah.
Look, I love Washington. Michael Penix Jr., an elite quarterback in the country. I think Washington has the best tight end coach in the country. Shout out to my boy Nick Sheridan. But Oregon is looking better and better every single week. What they did to UCLA shouldn't even be legal, Jake.
Quack.
Quack, 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 quack. And go watch heavyweights after.
All right, what's the next one?
Oh, so give me Oregon is what I'm saying on that. All right, Alabama at Ole Miss. Are you getting your popcorn ready for this one? Because I got my popcorn ready last year. And
Guys.
let's just say I was left wanting.
Why I keep picking first, man? You pick first on one of these.
Why?
Because just mix it
I
up.
like the way we're doing it.
No, I don't.
I think
Go
you
ahead.
should go first.
Pick.
3 buns? Okay.
Oh, right there? Okay.
Like, can we not do that? Like, you're messing with the polls.
Pick your team.
You're messing with the
Flaming
polls.
Dragon.
Stop. Like referees betting on games. All right. Give me the Alabama Crimson Tide. Better
How much do you
team.
think?
I think Bama covers. I think they might whip up on Ole Miss a little bit. I don't think Jackson Dart is good as advertised. I think he makes a couple mistakes. And Alabama's, sooner or later they got to figure out. I think just Alabama teams, like talent-wise, is like good. I think they're just dumb. It's like football IQ-wise on defense. Like one thing you used to see from Bama players, they're used to being really good
And really smart.
Like,
and
how?
really smart.
With Will Anderson and Jordan Battle on the same, how is that possible right now?
Jordan Battle, he's good, not great. Will's having a good year, not great. Their corners, terrible.
Eli Ricks has been getting absolutely.
like everyone, Kool-Aid McKinstry be getting mossed.
Yeah.
Branch, the star players.
I keep watching it every
They're
week.
not a smart
They're not
football
creating
team.
turnovers.
Yeah.
I keep watching it every week. I'm like, how is this possible right
They're not a smart
Well, even
football
Saban
team.
said during his coaching talk thing last night, he's like, I'll sit and I'll go in there and I'll show him here's the 5 things you did wrong. You did it 5 times. Like I don't know what else to outside of that. Like I can't go play.
And this is the first Alabama team where I look at receiver, look at this offense, and other than Jahmyr Gibbs, I'm afraid of nobody.
Yeah.
Cameron Latu, mid. Ja'Cory Brooks, decent. Other than that, JoJo Earl, decent. You got Harrell, who's not showed up. And I said this earlier in the year, they don't have a guy receiver.
You're talking about other than Bryce, right?
Yeah.
What did you say? I thought you said looking at this Alabama.
Well, I'm talking about
skill position outside of quarterback.
Skill position-wise. Yeah. Well, everyone should be worried about Bryce Young.
Yeah.
I woke
That's
up
the
this
problem.
morning thinking about
Despite the
Bryce.
lack
You're
of
used
weapons, he's still putting up
Yeah,
450.
dude, you're used to seeing that Bama not have one, usually not have 2.
Yeah.
3 guys that can tear you up no matter what it is, and they only got 1. Jahmyr Gibbs is nice, but they don't give the damn ball enough.
Yeah. My thing is I look at Ole Miss's roster. Alabama has a much better roster, but I do think Ole Miss will be able to run the ball somewhat in this game with the veterans. I know, look, Will Anderson, we know how talented they are up front, Dallas Turner and those guys. What I'm going back and forth on is, can Ole Miss's defense stop Alabama at all? Can they stop them? And I know Alabama struggled. I wonder if Alabama gets back to the run game a little bit in this game. I'm actually leaning towards the under in this game, to be honest with you, because I think Saban sat Bill O'Brien down and was like, listen, I love us throwing the ball out of the backfield and doing all these things. We need to line up and run the ball. That's what we need to do. Give me Bama. Give me Bama by a touchdown. I think Bama wins this game. Give me 34-27.
Okay, clean sweep then, because I'm going to take Alabama as well. They lost 2 games by a total of 4 points. They haven't even trailed when the clock's hit 0. I think that they're going to go into Oxford and get a win there. Last one, boys. UFC 281. Israel Adesanya versus Alex Pereira. The fight we were wanting, a middleweight bout. Right now, Adesanya is minus 220. Pereira is plus 160. Remember, Adesanya beat Jared Cannonier in July when we were watching that by decision for UFC 276. In that same fight, Pereira beat Sean Strickland by TKO. That's one of your boys, right? Right, Blaine? Sean Strickland?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, and remember, we talked about the kickboxing match a long time ago when Pereira actually knocked out Adesanya.
Twice.
Has he? It's been twice?
Beat Adesanya twice.
Interesting.
Pereira's going to win this fight.
You think so?
Tell you why. Adesanya is, if he wins this one, he would tie Anderson Silva's consecutive wins in the middleweight category.
Okay.
All right. When I look at Adesanya, he is unbelievably talented, has so much potential. But I think he gets a little loose and lazy at times. I think he gets a little showman at times. I think Pereira is just an old school junkyard bulldog. I think he's going to go in there. I think Pereira knocks Adesanya out in the 3rd round.
In the 3rd round,
knocks
Blaine,
out the third.
you going with the favorite or underdog?
Adesanya. I mean, the anime god. I mean, he's a Wichita. I just love watching.
Style bender?
Yeah. I mean, he's air,
You remember Silva?
water. I'm
Like-
going to kick you in the face.
Like this, and then all of a sudden somebody just knock him out because I just feel like he's going to be dancing around too
It's
much.
going to be fun to watch, that's for sure.
It is going to be fun to watch.
I'm going to ride with the underdog. Give me Alex Pereira.
There you go. Let's
do
do
it.
it. Feeling underdogs.
All right, hey, let's run our highlight reel real quick of the week. That was weird to say. Let's run our highlight reel of this week before we get into the bets for tonight. Let's roll that beautiful footage. Did you see the way that the Fetterman ended his rally? What he said at the end of his speech?
I thought it was something, hold on, was it something like this?
That's what's up, guys.
Yeah. Play it.
Joe Biden's kid on the TV.
Listen, yeah,
80s baby, man.
You're a Yankees fan,
Yeah.
all right, one, and you have a beautiful beard, so I need you to care. I don't even know. I'm not even going to respond to that.
Cones the referee is like, hey, man, switch to your left hand. They say, know your audience, know your audience. Well,
20.
there you go. Yes.
For sure.
It was the right decision. It was the right decision.
We like a player with no quit in him. But 9 times? I don't even know if Primo took that many shots in a game.
Free Willy jumps out of the water.
Yeah.
How many Seahawks fans right now are like, man, Geno Smith sucks because he wears a wristband?
Yeah, I'm not saying I'm the same as Macaulay Culkin, but
That's what it sounds like.
No, we're both actors in your early stages of life.
$50 a day.
Great. And if I make it, I'm going to say nothing else.
You are trash.
We're going.
Trash.
Give me the ball.
It's November. We're talking football. I mean, life is good right now.
Oh, dude. Are you gonna make a shot on?
I made the second one. They didn't put it in the video. Where's the little ball? Where's the little ball?
First of all, we're
Pablo
gonna
had
hit 2
it.
off the tee.
Pablo had it.
Pablo had the little ball.
Pablo had the ball.
I walking in, there's a
That
skeleton
gummit.
on the ground.
Yeah.
I don't know what was
I
going
was
on.
walking into a Jeffrey Dahmer's room.
Jeez.
All right, here's what I got tonight. Last night, 1-1. What a great. We didn't even talk about the Falcons-Panthers game. That's how bad it was.
Ew.
Last night. What a waste of time. Ew, puke, gross. All right, tonight.
He'll puke.
All right, give me Cincinnati -1 at home against East Carolina. East Carolina, really don't trust them defensively. I like the Bearcats, even though they haven't run the ball as well as I thought. This is a parlay. Give me a -1. Give me Fresno State money line on the road taking on UNLV. And then give me the USC Colorado over 61.5. You combine that together, you get the Mega Ranger and also +182. Then my second bet, give me Cincinnati -5.5 at -105. Something about East Carolina I just don't trust. Holt Nailers, great story, just don't trust them.
Okay, I'm going to take USC Colorado over 63.5. That's at -150. I think Southern Cal is going to come out here and try and make a statement. At home, Caleb Williams
70
is
points?
trying to win the Heisman. Why not?
Colorado's
Why not?
trash, too.
And if they give up a couple touchdowns,
Bite up a little bit
if they
there.
give up a couple touchdowns with that defense, that's okay too because I have the over. All right. Cincy -2.5 at -165. Look, this East Carolina team can play, Jake. I know it. But,
They've been hot lately.
but I think Cincy will be a little too much.
I like Ben Bryant. I think he's got a lot of David Cohn in him.
A lot of David Cohn?
I'm trusting him.
Which one? Which team has that?
Ben Bryant, the quarterback for Cincinnati.
Oh, Cincinnati. Yeah.
All right, I'm coming out of the simulation this month in betting, guys. I'm actually going to start trying. All right.
You haven't been trying?
No, I haven't. I'm gonna be honest.
You haven't been trying.
No,
That's
I really haven't.
You've been going.
And I thought Jake needed to get a month under his belt.
You know what? This is so much.
Security.
This is so
Someone
much
called the
trash.
insecurity police. Well, this is what I'm taking. Jake, can you please move your giant head out of the way because you have a huge brain? You're welcome.
Yeah.
Give me Fresno minus.
looks like crap now.
What was that?
You heard me.
It's not my fault. It's their fault. All right, Fresno minus 6.5, minus 170. Bought that down a little bit. I believe that's going off at minus 9.5, but gave me by a touchdown. Then I'm taking the under. A little parlay action here, fellas. Since the under 52.5, I heard the weather's supposed to be terrible for this game.
Is it?
I don't know. I lied. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it's
trying to tell you that yesterday.
but then I'm going to take the I can't even see that.
You want
USC minus 27.5. Bought it down, fellas. Bought it down. Colorado, hot garbage. Terrible. 1-8 on the year.
Terrible.
Just I think
Terrible.
the closest game they've almost won their own. They lost by 30.
Terrible.
We could probably get 8 guys go out there and play with them for 4 quarters. So I'm taking the USC.
Yeah, there's our ball right
Yes.
now. I just want to know who
Here you go. Here you go. Let me see the ball. Let me
who
see the
just
ball.
heard-
Still got it, baby.
Like-
Still got the mitts.
who heard Blaine's picks where he doesn't know if it's raining or not. He can't even see the board. He's squinting up there. They heard his picks and thought, yeah, I want to trail that.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Same record as me, Dave.
Baby Cone, he wants Fresno minus 7.5, USC minus 32.5. That second one's at minus 140. The first one's at minus 110. Here you go. Now I'm making this in the basket.
Oh, you're making it in the basket?
I know you're going to do it.
What's the miss going off at?
That's right. There you go. That's right.
You're like 1 for 9.
That's right.
Congrats.
Oh. 2 for 3.
Nice job.
Read a book.
You know basketball counts too.
All right, shout out to the Booster Club.
Poll?
Oh,
Real quick.
you lost.
No.
Lost.
I thought it was at 3.
4. You said it again.
You said
When did
throw
I
me
say
the ball? Throw me the ball, Blaine?
Booster Club, let me know. So will Jake say Blaine more than 3.5 times? Yes or no?
It was.
They said yes.
Yes.
70%.
71%.
They said no. 21%. They said yes, 79%, and they're right. Ended at 4.
We need to, after the sub break, it needs to be off. That's what I think. I think this is blasphemous. All right, appreciate you guys. Make sure you're following us on all social media. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you check us out. Saturday special dropping tomorrow. We also have our Sunday review and our recap and then preview of the NFL. Make sure you go grab some merch. DW, make sure you check out the shop. It's under Originals. It's really easy to find. We appreciate you guys. You're the best audience in the world.
Hell yeah.
And like the chances of me not hitting the under and saying Blaine's name on Flaming Dragon Friday, we're going, gone.